Hey, everybody. I am so happy to be here with you today. My name is Mindy Arbuckle, and as you can see, I am a master of Christology and I am a women's empowerment coach. And my website is mindyarbuckle.com, but it's more important about the crystal solutions that we're going to be talking about today. Now, crystals have been a part of my own journey for decades at this point. And as a kid, I was always that one who, when we would go on vacation, I would be drawn to the crystals in the gift shops. Didn't really care much for the spoons that my mom collected or, all the other trinkets that you can get. But I did love the crystals and I didn't even know anything about them. And then when I was in high school, I started making hemp jewelry. Do you guys remember this? The weaved hemp jewelry. And I only wanted to use really quality stones. And most of the stones at that point in my life as a teenager were gemstone crystals. And then I started wondering, why am I using all of these instead of glass or plastic? They're pretty, but I just don't use them very much. So I started looking into the healing properties of them. And it's just been a journey ever since then. I went to the Colorado School of Mines and I took, a couple of geology classes, but they don't really teach the esoteric stuff at Mines. As you can imagine, it's an engineering university. But I've been doing crystal healings, chakra healings with people for 15 years. And this is just a natural evolution. And I wanted to share this with you today because there's so much stress in the world these days, so much stress. And it just doesn't make any sense why we have to carry that stress with us when there are amazing tools out there for us to help regain our centers. And that's what we're going to talk about today is how do we beat our stress and regain our centers, our harmony, our peace. Okay. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about who this is for. This is just a little overview. We're going to talk about who this is for, what stress really is and how it affects our brains, how crystals work, why do crystals work? Why even have them? Are they just pretty rocks or do they actually have some power? 4 specific crystals to help you get through the day. And we'll talk about how I came up with these at that point as well. And then any kind of next steps that you want to take to further this journey of your spiritual awakening, of your crystal healing potential, all the things. Okay. All right. So who is this for? This is for you if you are worn out by stress, burnt out, or feeling overwhelmed from this crazy world that we live in, all the stuff going on in your own world, relationships, work, all the things can create stress, burnout, and overwhelm. If you are on a spiritual path, but you don't always know how to navigate this world, you know that there's a better way, but you're not sure and you feel like you don't want to recreate the wheel every freaking day. So you want some guidance. All right. This is for you if you're a crystal lover who really just wants to use their crystals more instead of just letting them sit on the shelf or in a drawer, hopefully not, but actually utilizing these crystals to enhance your life. You know there's something good to them, and now you just want to learn more about them. Okay, this is for you if you're feeling tired and anxious from life, and you really do want tools to support your personal growth. And this is for you if your physical, your mental, or your emotional health is being depleted by stress and negative energy. There's a lot of it out there. There's a lot of negative vibes going on around this planet. And if you don't have tools to help you regain your center, you will feel it physically, mentally, emotionally, soulfully. You're going to feel it in all the different layers of your beingness. So let's dive into that and figure out how do we solve this problem. And this is for you if you're ready for the next level of crystal connection, and which really does lead to spiritual connection, divine connection, like your true self connection. So let's dive in. What is stress? This is a question that I think everybody could answer in a completely different way. Do you agree with me? If you feel like, man, I've got stress in my life, it's hard to define sometimes, but you've got it. Now, according to the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, stress is a physical and emotional reaction that people experience as they encounter changes in life. Sounds benign enough. However, what's going on is that, stress, it's really normal. What happens is when we don't deal with the stress, long-term stress and accumulative stress can contribute to or worsen a range of health problems, from your digestive system to headaches, not sleeping so well, and all kinds of other symptoms like feeling burnout, feeling exhaustion, feeling like you're gaining weight, not being able to regulate your body. If you're going through menopause, women, stress will exacerbate your menopause symptoms like hot flashes. Did you know that? If you are already in adrenal fatigue, stress is just depleting you more and more and more every single day. Now, stress is going to either worsen, it may even worsen things like asthma, and it has been linked to depression, anxiety, and all kinds of other mental illnesses. So if you have a tendency toward anxiety or depression, then stress is only going to enhance it. It's going to blow it up. And your breathing is definitely enhanced or is depleted by stress. So asthma, panic attacks, those kind of things happen with stress. Now, generally, when your body, your mind, and your emotions are under stress, you're not breathing well. Okay, just like I mentioned before, your chest breathing, and you're breathing very shallow, irregular breaths. So then the next time that you're under stress, or just try to think back to the time that you felt stress, you probably weren't breathing well. Can you recreate that in your body right now? And feel like what it would be like if you weren't breathing well, if you're holding your breath and you're anxious about it and it was irregular and you couldn't really quite take a deep breath in. And every time you breathed in, your belly got sucked in. Well, that's a problem, because when you're not thinking or when you're not breathing well, you don't have enough oxygen going to your brain. So then your reptilian and primitive brain puts you into survival mode. Okay, so information is going to come in and it's going to reach into the lower part of your brain, your primitive brain. Okay, and if you're not breathing well, it's pretty much where it's going to stay. Hard to get yourself into your forward thinking self, your human, your divine thinking brain, when you're not breathing well, when you are under stress. And then the limbic system, which is kind of this midbrain section, or the emotional brain, the mammalian brain, keeps you in the same unconscious patterns and instincts to handle stress. Basically, you become a robot. So you're either in survival mode or you're in robot mode. You have no idea what you're doing. You're just doing it because it's familiar. Right? So stress is putting you into these patterns that you've created through your whole life, from the age of infancy all the way up until today. And you get stuck in these patterns, these loops, this programming that we've created for ourselves, and you don't have access to the high thinking part of the brain, which makes it very difficult to come up with new solutions, to get creative, to get curious, and to be able to handle your stress. Okay. That makes you make poor decisions. It's a common side effect of stress and overwhelm, right? You're not thinking straight. You're coming from your emotions. And most of the time when you're really emotional, it's all about you. It's the ego self talking, not your highest self talking. It's your small human self, okay? What this is basically called is an amygdala hijack. And this tends to happen by bypassing the problem-solving capacity of the prefrontal neocortex, the human brain, or the divine self brain, like the higher thinking part of us, okay? Now, this is just some images to help you see what's really going on here. So information enters back here in the reptilian brain. This is all your senses, right? This is just basically your ability to have all five senses give you the information to see what's going on in your life. And this is the reptilian brain, because all mammals or all reptiles have this, all mammals have this. This is the most primitive form of our brain, and it only gives us instinct. It only gives us survival mode. It doesn't give us what's coming next, which is the emotion. So you feel in your limbic system, in your midbrain, all right? Now, from your limbic system, you add in emotions. So now this is the mammalian part of our brain. So think about a dog. A dog has emotions. A chimpanzee has emotions, and they use that to help create decisions. All right. Now, this works in both the positive and the negative aspects of emotions. So negative emotions give you a hit and positive emotions give you a hit. All right. And then eventually you think rationally way over here in the neocortex. So this is the front forebrain. And this is the part that actually is the part that is human. This is the part that makes us distinct from reptiles and fish and mammals. This is the part that gives us the ability to think through our problems. But what happens is when we are under stress, I'm going to come right back to that. When we are under stress, we get stuck and we have something called an amygdala hijack. So stress bypasses the thinking part of the brain and it gets hijacked by the amygdala in the limbic system. So this is still part of that midbrain area. And it plays a key role in the processing of your emotions. It's linked to both fear responses and pleasure responses, like I was mentioning, and it's linked to motivations, particularly those that are related to survival. So like those little dings that you get on your phone, those are activating your midbrain, your emotional receptors that say, ooh, somebody thinks I'm important, right? Okay, now let me just go back. A key point that I want to make here for being able to think rationally through our problems is that using crystals as a touchstone of mindfulness allows for more space and length in the reaction time after processing an external stimulus. So basically, it gives us space to observe our stressors, the external stimuli, and then make better decisions. So you can choose to respond to what's going on in your life rather than automatically reacting from your robot self. Okay, you're able to witness life more clearly, which actually frees up a lot of space for you to be your best self. You don't take things so personally anymore here in the midbrain. You're not getting hijacked all the time by the lower midbrain, by the amygdala, and you're being able to really breathe through. Remember, you don't breathe if you're in stress. You don't breathe well, but you can breathe through when you've got a crystal in your hand as a reminder that you don't have to engage in the nastiness that's going on around you. You don't have to. You have a choice. Okay. So let's talk about this amygdala hijack. All right. So this is your brain on an amygdala hijack. All right, so the amygdala is alerted by an external stimuli. Say your boss walks in and you know that there's conflict happening, or you've just had, a terrible discussion with your spouse. Your kids just lit you up, and or you're in a car accident. There could be physical stress, right? Like it doesn't have to just be a relationship kind of stress. It could be a physical stress. Maybe you just went on a hike, but you fell and now you've twisted your ankle. There's stress there. Okay. Now, it bypasses the logical neocortex. So when the amygdala is activated, it bypasses the logical center and it goes straight back to the primitive brain. The primitive brain, that's where you're just living in survival mode. Can anybody relate to this? That you're like, you know that you've been in stress and you are just in survival mode? All right, now, then the brain triggers hormonal responses that you're under attack. Okay, now, we live in such a blessed day where we don't have the same kind of physical stress that our ancestors used to have, right? We don't have the same kind of feast or famine going on. We aren't being chased by saber-toothed tigers, those kinds of things. So we don't have the same kind of physical stress that our ancestors did, but our brains have not evolved at the same rate that technology has evolved. So now we're under more emotional and mental stress, but the brain reacts exactly the same as if we were under threat, under physical attack. Does that make sense? Right? The brain doesn't know the difference between a physical attack and an emotional attack. It just knows that it's under attack and it's going to respond in a way that it automatically doesn't have to think about it. Okay. I mean, there's goodness to that, and it puts us in a negative loop at the same time. So when the brain triggers all these hormones that you're under attack, your blood starts pumping faster, you feel your heartbeat increasing, your increase cardiovascular. So you're going to talk louder, you're going to talk faster, and things are just going to get a lot more heated and a lot more stressful. Can you imagine that? Can you feel that? Can you picture the last time that happened for you? Right? Now, There we go. Now, as blood pumps, more hormones get produced, creating more emotions, more anger, more rage, whatever is going on in your system. It's going to create more hormones that support that so that you can fix the problem, right? If I'm jealous enough, if I'm angry enough, I can fix this fucking problem. Doesn't really work that way, but that's what happens when you live from the primitive brain and the emotional hijack. All right. And lastly, the thing that you need to know is that when the amygdala has hijacked your stress response, and instead of choosing a response, you are reacting from the amygdala from past reactions, it's going to take 20 minutes to 6 hours to move from the emotional brain back to the thinking brain again. Okay, so it's going to keep you in this elevated stress state. It might mellow out a little bit, but it's going to be higher than it was before the stress happened when you are having to deal with this emotional stress response. Okay, and then what happens is that it finishes the loop. So every time that we experience an amygdala hijack, it's going to do it again. It's like it's rewiring or wiring a new pathway, a new circuit of how to handle stress. And it says, oh, we know this one. The amygdala hijack thing works really well for us. It pisses us off. We get so emotional. We cry. We don't know why life is happening to us. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But sometimes you get through it and then you're like, okay, well, that worked. It didn't work, but it worked, right? You got through it. Okay, so we're creating, every time this happens, we're creating a deeper pathway to make it happen again and again and again. And we don't want that to happen. We want to hijack the amygdala hijack, right? We want to get in front of the amygdala hijack. And that's where our crystals can come into play. All right, so crystal magic. Crystals are a way to reset when we've been hijacked by stress. Right? So there's all kinds of ways that you can physically and emotionally reset. You can stand up and stretch and like move your body really big, because when you're depressed and you're under stress, you're usually kind of collapsed. So, stand up, move your body, shake it. That's a way to do it. But sometimes you don't have the ability to do that because you're in the middle of a Zoom meeting or you're in the middle of an office or something like that, and it just doesn't work. So grabbing your crystal and holding it as a reminder that this is just stress. This is just you on stress. You don't have to do it anymore. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you for being here for me. Okay. So you can use this to help you remind yourself to reset. You don't have to live in that awful place of stress. And crystals truly are these amazing gifts from Mother Earth. They're phenomenal. I mean, the earth has everything that we need in order to align and heal. And each crystal has its own unique sets of energies and healing properties. Even two stones that are identical, these are both rose quartz, each one has a slightly different resonance to it. Okay, like they're all in the same family, so you feel it, but they all have slightly different feelings, and you'll see that especially in labradorite when I show that to you, and in quartz. All right, now crystals are super easy to work with, and they can be extraordinarily wonderful partners to help you regain your authenticity and your ability to truly awaken to your full potential. And not only are crystals beautiful, but they also help keep you more balanced, more attuned, more harmonious. Now, scientifically, I just want you to know that there are real reasons why crystals work. They work due to changes in pressure and temperature, okay? So when you actually hold a crystal in your hand, there's a pressure difference. It's going to interact with you. And when it changes temperature, it can also interact with you. So the longer you hold on to it, you're going to notice the warmer your crystal feels. That's because you're activating it, okay? Now, there we go. Crystals all have unique energy from mineral to mineral, as well as individual specimens within the same family. I'm just going to show you two crystals that are very similar. So these are labradorites, and they look very similar, but when you catch the light, ooh, they have totally different, oh, there we go, resonances to them. See that? So even within specific minerals, they can have slightly different feels to them. Now, I want you to remember, this is probably the most important point, is that crystals are tangible reminders of that which you desire, right? You desire to be happier. You desire to be more abundant. You desire to have a healthy relationship with your family. You desire, a happy work environment that's not filled with stress. Those are the things that you are desiring. And these beautiful crystals are tangible reminders of your dreams, of your highest self, what your potential really is. And it's really important to use your own intuition to decide which crystal is right for you. Okay, so what happens is that you read a book, or you go to a gem show, or you have somebody else do something for you. And when you are choosing crystals to work with, you don't want somebody else to tell you what to do or what to work with. Even me, I can't tell you exactly what to work with. I can give you a whole set, but you've got to be able to choose which crystals are right in the moment. So if you have a bowl full of quartz crystals, you've got to use your intuition to figure out which one of those gorgeous beauties is right for you. And your intuition, there's already an inner knowingness. There's already a connection between you and the right crystal. You just have to tap into that inner knowing so that you can listen and figure out which one is right for you. Okay. Now, I want you to remember, when you're working with crystals and when you're not working with crystals, if you are on a personal growth journey, a spiritual journey, a spiritual expansion, you have got to start shifting your mindset from everything is happening to me to everything is happening for me. Everything happens for your highest good. Even the suckiest of the sucks. Okay, your soul came into this world with a contract with somebody else. And your soul said, I need to work on this. I want to work on abundance. So this is maybe just mine. I want to work on abundance. And so I had people who came into my life who said, all right, I'll help you work on that abundance. But remember, you're going to have to get through all the pain and the suffering. Or forgiveness is an easier one to relate to. So forgiveness, if your soul came in to say, I need to work on forgiveness, well, then you need somebody to forgive. So then you have a soul contract with somebody who you have to forgive, right? They're going to do something terrible to you, but they are still pure light, and they love you so much that they're willing to be a part of your soul's journey. So everything happens to us for the highest good and our healing. Those really, really sucky parts of our life have been there to show us our greatness, to shine a light on the part of you that made it through and was able to really gain something from that experience. Yes, it sucked, and I'm not taking away any of that, but everything that happens to us is happening for us, for our highest good. And I want you to really start embracing that if you haven't already. And if you've already been working with this topic of everything happening for you, take it to the next level, dear sister, dear brother. Take it to, how is this worst part of this thing that's happening to me right now? How is it great? Okay. And then today we're going to go through the general energy of the 4 crystals. And if you choose to use these crystals, let your heart guide you instead of your head as to which crystal you need and when. So I'm going to give you 4 beautiful crystals to go through, but you don't need all 4 all the time. You don't need any one of them all the time necessarily. It's about using your intuition to open up to what crystal ally is going to be the best for you in any given moment. All right. There we go. So here are my 4 top stress busters. All right. We've got crystal quartz on the left and the right. We've got labradorite, that beautiful slabby, orangey, yellowy, bluey crystal in the middle left. We've got rose quartz, the pink stone, upper right, and we've got black tourmaline. at the bottom right. Okay. Now, how did I come up with these 4 crystals? Well, you can use so many crystals to help you bust through stress, but I wanted 4 that were, number 1, fairly common and easily accessible so that you didn't have to go around hunting for these. And these are also not easy ones that people fake. So that's also a good reason. And number 2, you probably already have some of these. If you're a crystal lover, you might already have some quartz, some rose quartz, some labradorite, some black tourmaline, okay? These are phenomenal crystals for you to be able to use at any given moment to help you beat stress. And they're 4 of my favorite crystals, okay? So these are, they're approaching stress from different angles. And that's really what's important here, is to be able to see that stress doesn't just happen from one direction in your life. Stress can happen in any number of ways. And to be able to know what part of you is feeling like it needs support, that's what these 4 crystals do, okay? So let's start with black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is an amazing grounder and protective kind of energy. Now, I want you to know that this is not going to be just like, I'm going to list all the things. I'm not going to read from a book about what these crystals do for you. You have access to all those books and all the websites that have all the things. And if you want to learn more, my website, store.mindyarbuckle.com, has like a whole crystal catalog on there of the healing properties. But I really wanted to just allow these crystals to speak through me today so that you can hear exactly what you need to know from them. And I'm going to share with you a couple of individual pieces. Now, black tourmaline is great for you if you need to really anchor in, to be able to just slow down and feel safe and protected and at home in your body, right? Like, your body is your vehicle. Your body is your vessel for this life. And so many of us don't treat it very well. We don't love our physical forms because you have too big of thighs, or your bum's the wrong size, or you're too tall, you're too short, or you got the wrong color of hair, or your nose is too wide. I don't know. We treat ourselves terribly, and our physical form needs us to love it. And black tourmaline can help us anchor into that self-love for the body itself, to feel at home in who we are. It has great protective energy. This crystal, it looks small, but man, does it hold a power punch. And the crystals that I've got available have these cool areas where they grew in the earth. So you've got that even deeper connection to earth connection with these particular black tourmalines. So like this one's even more fun. Look at that. Okay. Anyways, black tourmaline, if you're feeling frustrated, angry, lost, or stuck, if you just can't control how you're responding to the world because you feel like you're always under attack, black tourmaline is going to be your friend and your ally. Black tourmaline puts up a shield around you to help protect you from incoming negative energy. Okay, it's not going to protect you from your own. It can help clear you from the energy, the negative energy that you've taken on and that you want to clear. That's beautiful, but it won't protect you from your own. You have to consciously work on clearing that. Now, when you're using it for protection, keeping it in your pocket is phenomenal. All you have to do is just keep this little crystal right here in your pocket, or put it on your desk, right? Be able to have it within your aura field. Okay, so our aura field is usually about 3 feet around us. Okay, so it just extends out kind of like our arms. And crystals also have their own little auric field. So you want to have those 2 fields merging together for the protective energy to happen. Okay. Oh yeah, just if you really just need to release, to purify that dark junk inside of you, or to recognize your shadow for what it is. It's just a part of you. It's not a part to be afraid of. It's not a part to, try and kill off or bombard with white light. It's just a part of you that needs to be honored so that it can be healed. This can bring your shadow to the surface so you know what you're working with, right? Yeah. And it just is saying, if you've got anger, if you've got a lot of anger, hold on to me and allow that anger to flow through this crystal and out of you. You don't need to hold on to that anymore. And it doesn't matter the origin of the anger. Just allow yourself to give yourself permission to release it. Okay. Anybody have any questions about this beautiful black tourmaline? Look at this one. It's so cute. It has a couple different crystals. All right. Let's go on to rose quartz. Okay. Oh, my clickers are slow to respond. All right. Rose quartz. Beautiful heart stone. Oh, by the way, first chakra and earth healing, earth connection for black tourmaline. Now we're going to jump up to the heart where we have rose quartz. Okay. Rose quartz is the quintessential heart crystal, in my opinion. Now there are better ones, more expensive, more potent ones, but out of all the crystals on the earth that you have easy access to for heart cleansing and heart purification, rose quartz is your best friend. Okay. Rose quartz, she helps you with self-love. Self-love. And these days, we don't just need self-love, we need radical self-love because we haven't been taught what this means. We've been taught that loving yourself is somehow selfish, that taking care of yourself is somehow self-centered and you're ignoring the people in your life. Well, that's just a bunch of malarkey. What happens when we're taking on stress is that we're believing in what they're telling us. We're buying into somebody else's story of our lives. So we're buying into the fact that somebody thinks we didn't do good enough on our project or that you didn't put your full effort in. We're buying into the fact that somebody thinks that you're being selfish. We're buying into the fact that you aren't giving everything you've got, even though you know you are, but you start buying into these stories that other people are laying on you, and you forget who you are. You forget the loving being that you are. And we're disconnected from that sense of centeredness in our bodies and our minds and our hearts. Yeah. So rose quartz helps us to love ourselves enough to be able to hold those healthy boundaries that our black tourmaline was helping us to develop with this protective aura around us. Rose quartz now instills, instead of just a harsh, strong boundary, a loving boundary, one that honors you. Not that black tourmaline isn't honoring you, but this one helps you honor your highest self even more. It's magic. Okay. So this rose quartz taps you into that sense of who you are at your core values, what makes you important, and being able to truly love and appreciate yourself for all of the things that you've been through, for the suck, for the accomplishments, being able to let love in and be able to share love freely, not because you want something in return, like just a thank you or a receiving back in return, but just because love is your true nature, right? So rose quartz comes in all these beautiful shapes and sizes. And one of the fun ones is you can get it in little tumbleds, tiny little guys. You can get it in spheres. And the fun thing about spheres is that they help you remember your wholeness. Right? So you can hold on to this and remember the wholeness that exists in your heart. And lastly, it wants me to just share with you a little bit about forgiveness. A lot of times when we are under stress, we take things personally. And sometimes it's about you, but most of the time, like 80 to 90% of the time, it's not about you. The person who's harming you, it's about them, and it's about their lives and their stories. And you're taking it personally and now making it part of your story. And our stories can either limit us or set us free. And rose quartz helps us to set our souls free through forgiveness. And so you've got to just be able to own the experience, go into that experience that was a wound that hurt you so badly, feel into that person who did it, the experience, and ask yourself, what did you gain from this experience? Yes, there was pain and there was suffering, but what did you gain? What muscles did you build? Did you build perseverance to be able to bust through and keep going? Did you build courage to face the pain and still move forward? What muscles were you building? Were you building a capacity for love? Okay, so find the gem, find the gift, the gem. Find the gift that you received through this horrible event that you need to forgive for. And then offer gratitude for this experience and for the muscles that you built from it, right? Then you can forgive. And I love the Ho'oponopono prayer. This is a Hawaiian prayer, and it is, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you can elaborate on all of those parts. I love you, and say why you love you. And sometimes we have to forgive ourselves. So this is a fun thing to do for yourself. I love you. I'm sorry. Elaborate on why you're sorry. Please forgive me. Ask for forgiveness. And then thank you. Thank you. Okay. So forgiveness is a part of our path to freedom. It's not so much for the person that you're forgiving, but to free yourself from that negative energy that you're carrying around by not forgiving, right? Not forgiving is essentially drinking a poison, thinking that it's going to harm the other person. It just doesn't work for you. There's no good in not forgiving. So find it within your heart to figure out how to forgive, and it is going to free up so much space for you. So there's rose quartz. All right. Such a magical, beautiful stone. All right. Now we're moving on to Labradorite. And Labradorite it's my favorite. I have to be honest. It's definitely my favorite. Okay. Every single piece of Labradorite is unique and stunning in its own way. Where are you at? It's hard to find the reflection with the light that I've got in my office right now. Okay. Well, if I look at it here, oh, this one's pink and orange. The fun thing about this is that it just looks like a gray stone. It doesn't look like that much. Oh, there, look at that. It doesn't look like very much of a stone until it catches the light. Until this one, oh, this one has a really cool, colorful spot, and it's just hard to see. Okay. Oh, wow. Bore you with all of these. All right. Now, again, if you look at the back of this, it just looks like a dull gray stone. When you polish it, oh my goodness, look at the reflection that happens. And it reminds you of your greatness, that we all just look human, we all look normal, and yet there's magic inside of us. There's beauty inside of us. And it helps us to know that our intuition is what taps us into the reality of who we are. You know, the mind and the body, the emotions, that's not who we are. Those change every single day. If that was who you are, then you couldn't possibly be the same person today as you were when you were 17 or when you were 3. Like, the body is not who we really are. It's just our vehicle, like we were talking about before. And what's important to remember is that there is a part of you that already knows all the answers to all the questions. And It's when we get disconnected from that part, when we forget who we really are, when we forget our greatness, when we forget that I'm the creator of my reality, then we lose touch. We lose touch with our highest self, with our intuition, with our inner knowing, with our insight, with our inspiration. All of those things are hard to access when we don't know who we are, when we forget to keep tapping in. Okay. So Labradorite helps us to tap into that real part of who we are. And look at this. This is such a cool picture. Every single piece of Labradorite is unique and different, from colors of orange and yellow, pinks, to blues and greens and purples. I mean, the whole rainbow exists within these. Even every now and then you'll see a spot of red, and it's not very common, but red. One of the pieces I was looking at yesterday actually has silver in it. Oh gosh. So that was kind of a new experience for me. Labradorite is also a highly protective stone. So that's another reason why I chose it for beating stress, because you can actually put this lovely little piece in your pocket and it'll keep you safe from other people's influence, so that you just have to deal with your own influence. You don't have to deal with everybody else's energy bombarding you. Okay. So if you're an empath, then I would keep a piece of these two stones with you always. Honestly, an empath needs to own her worth as well. So rose quartz, I mean, they're all really good. So Labradorite, what is it when I want to tell you? Like, you're amazing. You really freaking are amazing. And we don't give ourselves credit for the amazingness that we are. We don't give ourselves credit for the gifts, the divine gifts that we have been given, to develop those gifts, to develop your inner knowing. I mean, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, if you're young or you're old, you have divine intuition. You have that sixth sense available to you. So now it's a matter of allowing that into your life and starting to trust it. That's the key, is to trust in your intuition. So when you're under stress and you have this in your pocket and you're touching it because you're under stress, you can remember, what is this situation trying to teach me? What could be great about this situation? Who do I need to be to show up as my best self in this moment? Asking great questions is one of the best things you can do with Labradorite. Okay. I hope this is all making sense and helping. Let's see if I can get the next slide to come up. There we go. So we've got quartz now. Oh, quartz is, again, another one of my favorites. You guys should see my desk. I just have like 6 bowls of crystals and a whole ton of them more on my desk. Okay, so quartz. There's so many good things about quartz, but it really taps you into your highest self, your divine nature. And by doing so, you remember your greatness. That intuition was trying to guide you towards, and it helps you to develop not the intuition, the discernment you need to know who's in charge. Is it my lower self, my human self? Is it that damn amygdala hijack thing happening again? Is it my robot self, my small human self that likes to stay safe in its comfort zone? Or is it my highest self, the superhero within, my divinity, my soul? Who is leading the show? And quartz is one of those gorgeous crystals that helps us remember to put back together who we are. Okay, so this is a laser wand quartz, and these little beautiful laser wands can direct energy. So if you need to clear energy from one of your chakras, or you need to direct energy and charge it up, these crystals can actually help with all 7 chakras. Oh, by the way, Labradorite works mostly with the 6th chakra, but it works with all chakras. It's one of those gorgeous magical stones that does all 7 chakras. And quartz does the same thing. This one is attached to the crown chakra, but it works through all 7 chakras. Okay. So if you want to use a laser wand, they come bigger than this, but this is the size that I've got right here. Then all you have to do is kind of spiral it, and you use your intuition, feel which way works better. And you can also just touch the point, using the point when you're spiraling, but just gently touch the point to whatever area needs some healing or some energizing. And use that to just open yourself up. Okay. You can also clear energy. So this is like taking an ethereal cord. So let's say you've got an ethereal cord, like somebody just jacked you up in the shoulder and you ended up with a shoulder injury from it. And you've got imprints from that person, that injury, that car accident. You can actually use this laser wand to swirl around and kind of feel the energy of your shoulder, the places that need healing. And you can kind of dig out and pull out and put into, like, dump it into an imaginary golden vessel of white light. You need to do that. Otherwise, you're just kind of spreading that negative energy all over the place. But dump it into a golden bowl of white light, and you can clear out energy. Now, a lot of people used to say that you need to cut those cords, but I believe that you should not cut those cords. You need to just keep clearing out until, like, you dig out all the stuff until there's nothing that you can have access to today anymore. If you cut a cord, so if you have this cord coming out and you cut it, then there's a piece left in you that's going to grow. It's like a weed that is going to keep festering and growing until you actually get it all the way out. So you don't want to cut cords as much as you want to clear cords. And if you have questions about that, you can always ask. I love these little beautiful pieces of quartz. They're polished and very clear to help you tap into that clarity of knowingness, of your highest self, of your divine self, right? Then there's other amazing, like, this is a big piece of quartz that you can put on your desk, right? As a reminder that you are more than your human self. But these, while you're more than your human self, which we're kind of talking about the body and the mind, they also help you tune into that high mind aspect of who you are, so that you can have clear thinking, so that you can have better decisions when you're under stress. All right. One of my favorite pieces of quartz is a Faden quartz. And can you see that little line that goes through right here? This is a very unique piece of quartz. It's flat. The crystals go sideways, and there's that line. It's like a little tornado that goes through it. Okay, this is a stone of deep connection. So whether you want to connect to your highest self, all you have to do is hold this in your hand and meditate with it, breathe with it, ask it questions. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Or you can use it for healing work. So if you are a healer of some sorts and you need to connect with a client and feel into their field, into what they need, you can put this into their hand, and then you put your hand together with them. And this quartz crystal, this Faden quartz, will bring that connection like that. It's so cool. Oh my gosh. Do you know that I like this? Quartz also has amazing magic to it all over the place. They're hidden. So there's, like, you can't see it on this video, but there's hidden triangles right here. They're like engraved triangles on this face. This one is a Lemurian quartz. See all these lines that go across it? Sometimes there's keys, or there's notches, there's windows. And there are all these little magical things that are happening with quartz all the time. Double terminated is a common one. Self-healed. Oh, I mean, there's just so many beautiful things about quartz, and they all help us with that inner guidance that we're seeking. Angelic guidance, finding the right guides, be them spiritual guides or physical guides, being able to listen to your highest self and trust in its knowingness, to be able to know that you are the divine light. You are the spirit that you seek. You are the solution. The soul is the solution. And quartz is the thing, the beautiful crystal that gives you access to all of that. So whether you're working with a big hunky piece, a beautiful polished piece, something more natural that has, a little less clarity to it, it doesn't really matter. They all have their own gorgeous resonances to them. Can you tell I like quartz? And you know what? Quartz is really magical because it comes like its standard is this clear quartz and sometimes kind of creamy white, but quartz shows up as amethyst and as smoky quartz and as rose quartz and tangerine quartz and hematite quartz. I mean, like quartz has inclusions. It has phantoms in it. I mean, quartz, it's like the whole world all wrapped up into one freaking family. It's amazing. And it really does hold a ton of potential. When I was early on in my crystal healing days, I didn't use a lot of quartz. I just thought it was, you know, standard. And I like things that are sort of out of the ordinary. So I always went for the crystals that were less common and more colorful and different things like that. Until I really started working with quartz, I didn't realize how freaking magical it is. And I think one of the best things about quartz is that it can be programmed. Okay, so you take your little piece of quartz and you can actually program it. You know, quartz is what they use in watches to keep things steady and moving consistently. So you can take whatever program that you want and put it into this little piece of quartz and keep it in your pocket to be able to keep you attuned to it. Again, quartz works through heat and pressure. So the closer you have this to you, the more effective it's going to be. So you can program it to say, you know, that you want abundance. You can program it to help attract a soulmate. You can program it to, you know, keep you protected and joyful at work. You can program it for anything you want. You simply you center yourself, and that'll take 1 minute to 3 minutes usually. And you hold this piece of quartz. And I love when I'm programming quartz to put it right at my third eye, because that's that intuition zone. And I use my inner voice, sometimes my outer voice, but usually my inner voice, to program exactly what I want from this piece of quartz. Okay. That's probably enough for quartz today. We're getting close to our hour. Now, the best ways that you can use your crystals. Daily rituals are going to help you recharge your batteries. Okay, this is just the most important thing. You've got to take care of yourself every single day. So creating a ritual, whatever that looks like, whether it's sitting down with your crystals, laying down with them on your forehead, putting them on your heart, creating a ritual that's going to help you charge your battery. And again, it doesn't matter what that ritual is. Rituals are consistent practices that remind you, remember, put you back together who you are. They help you stay attuned to your highest self and clear the fog that this world gives us, okay, that we usually walk around in. Now, other ways that you can use these are touchstones. Putting them in your pocket, holding on to them throughout the day. I have huge crystals all over my desk, like some that are here to protect the electromagnetic smog. Oh, that's right. Black tourmaline, perfect for electromagnetic smog. If you don't want to absorb all these energy radiations from your computers, TVs, cell phones, all that stuff, black tourmaline all over the place. Okay. See, like this gorgeous, hunky, smooth sphere of moonstone. I hold on to this when I need to tap into that part of me who just needs that little bit of feminine energy and divine feminine power. Okay. So you can do that with any of these stones. You just hold on to them when you need them. All right. Excuse me. Hold them, create a relationship with them, know what they're good for and how you can bring them into your life. Right. Ask for guidance, ask for support from your crystals, hold on to your Labradorite and just, you know, tap in. What do I need to know right now? Who am I? What's my highest good? Who am I here to help today? How can I be a better version of me? Right? Next, Surround yourself with crystals. Put them in all over your desk. Put them in your purse, in your car, in your nightstand, on your mantle. Put them all over your house and let them be a part of every single day. I have crystals in my kitchen. I have crystals on my shelves. I have crystals as you come up the stairs, by the television, on the mantle, on my nightstand. I have a grid right here on my desk. I got a desk that has a glass top, so I could see through to this first shelf, so I could put a crystal grid right here on my desk. Okay, so just surround yourself with them. You can also drink crystal water, and all of these crystals that we talked about today are perfect for your water. Okay, so if you can see, I have crystals every single day in my water, right? So there's my rose quartz. I also have a citrine and a green tourmaline in my water. But if you are, wanting to develop more loving kindness in your life, put a rose quartz right into your water glass. If you feel like protection is the thing that you need, put that black tourmaline into your water. If you want to connect to your divine self and your intuition, then use your Labradorite. If quartz, you want to do something individual, program your quartz and stick that right into your water. Okay. Now, there are certain, I'm just going to give you a caveat. There are certain crystals that will dissolve in water. Don't put them in water. And there are also certain crystals like malachite that you should never put in water because they're poisonous. Most crystals are safe. If you have questions, you can just look it up on the internet or send me a message and I'll answer. And one of my favorite things to do with crystals is meditate with them. Hold them in your hands. Let them be a part of your inner processes, right? And you can restore your energy with crystals. Just simply lay down on your back in a comfortable position and place them on your body and lay down and breathe and just be. Don't do anything, just allow the energy of the crystals to merge into your body, into your energy, into your emotions. Let them be a part of you. Another thing that I do with these crystals is I use them to help me sleep. We didn't talk about sleep today, but you can put these in your pillowcase. You can put them under your pillow, but sometimes they tend to get knocked off of your bed when they're under your pillow. So I like to put them in my pillowcase, but they can help you sleep, right? If you want to improve your remembering of dreams, Labradorite. If you need help sleeping, just put a piece of quartz in there and ask it to help you calm your crazy mind. Yeah. So many different ways. And before we wrap up, I just want to say, if you are taking on a lot of stress, you're probably taking on a lot of negative energy as well. And you can clear that negative energy with smudging, right? So I don't know if you know about smudging, but it uses sacred herbs. We burn them and we use the smoke to clear negative energy, which is actually called positive ions. Positive ions hold negative energy. And so when I smudge, I tend to use white sage, some sort of tree essence like a pine needle, and then a flower essence like roses or lavender, jasmine, those kinds of things, okay? But we use the smoke from these herbs and trees and flowers to help clear negative energy. And if you don't know about this, I do on my YouTube channel, just look up Mindy Arbuckle, have a how to smudge video on there. And we also have these smudge kits with the crystals and the feather to help you clear all of this stuff at my brand new web store. It's really fun. store.mindyarbuckle.com. Okay. Now, lastly, these Stress Buster Crystal Kit. If you are interested in these 4 crystals in particular, and you would love to have these 4 crystals and know who you get them from, that they're sacred, that they've been cleansed already, then I have some of these kits. I don't have a lot of them, but I do have some of these special kits available for attendees of this class. Now, what I'm going to do is have all 4. If you have taken this class, I'm going to give you all 4 of these crystals, the beautiful wand, the crystal wand. All right, a beautiful carved piece of Labradorite, rose quartz palm stone, and this natural piece of black tourmaline that has its earth connection still on it. Okay, all 4 of these crystals. And then for you guys just people who are attending this, I'm going to include one of these sweet little crystals that are polished already for you. Okay. All of this is valued at $63, but if you want one of these kits, let me know in the next 24 hours and I will offer this to you today for just 44 bucks. Okay. 5 crystals, 44 bucks. And it will help you beat all the stress that you are taking on these days. Okay. Again, just let me know today if you want this offer, and I'll be happy to send you an invoice and get it off to the mail as soon as I get your payment. All right. And lastly, I just want to wrap it up with the burnout solution. This is my coaching course, and there's so many good people out there who are just so tired of being tired. They're tired of being burnt out and overwhelmed and being able to just, they know that there's so much more available to them. They just don't have access to it yet. And they don't know why they don't have access. And they need a teacher. They need a guide to help show them the path of regaining access to their highest self. And that's what we really do. If you are a woman like this who, is doing all the things, you're following all the rules, you've gotten the job, you've got the family, you're taking care of the spouse, or maybe you've gotten divorced from the spouse and you just, life is too hard and it doesn't need to be this hard. If you are a woman like this who is a leader of your own right, it doesn't matter exactly what kind of leader, whether you're a spiritual leader, a corporate leader, a leader of your community, of your family, and you're ready to make a positive change in your life and unleash your soul's potential, then I want to just invite you to schedule a complimentary call at mindyarbuckle.com/talk to see if the burnout solution would be an option for you. I only work with people that I've personally talked with to see if I can help them. And if I can't, I'm going to point you in a better direction. But either way, you're going to get a lot of value out of this call to be able to really tap into what is getting in the way. What are those dreams that you want? Where do you want to go? And then we'll see if there's a path that we can work together to be able to get you those dreams to come into your reality. Okay. That's the most exciting part. So this is for empowered women leaders who want to live authentically with vitality and authentic confidence. Now, there's a lot of women out there who are high achievers, who have a big confident persona, but underneath they're crumbling and they're worried and they're self-doubt and all of the things. Let's clear up all that underbelly surface stuff that you don't need anymore and get you tapped into your highest self so that you can tap into your abundance, your joy, your energy, your fullness, and live the life that you were designed for. Okay. All right, fabulous. So much gratitude for you for joining me today. I'm so happy that you've been here and spending this hour with me. If you want a crystal kit, or you want to go for one of those smudge kits, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you out with those. We'll get you together. And again, if you want to schedule a complimentary call to figure out how do I incorporate spirituality, more ritual practices, be able to incorporate this into my daily life and use crystals to my benefit, well, that's what the burnout solution is all about. Okay. I, again, want to say thank you from my heart to yours. Namaste. And really just big love and big gratitude. You have so much available to you, and I'm here to support you on that journey. Mwah. I'll see you soon.